Hi, everybody. This is Ann DeSantis, the Executive Director for the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation for Freedom, Family, and Faith. I am joined here with you on this day for our annual fundraiser with our two friends, two other nonprofits, Patchwork Heart Ministry and Fiat Ministry Network. The founder of Patchwork Heart Ministry is Bill Snyder, good friend of mine, also my podcast co-host for Sowing Hope, and also Fiat Ministry Network, where you would watch shows such as Journeys in Faith, which you've seen before, some of you who are familiar with me and familiar with our foundation, and also these other two wonderful nonprofits. It's great to be here with you on this evening because during this annual fundraiser, the three of us, all three nonprofits, will come together to you to kind of give you an idea and explain exactly what's been going on with us over this last year. You know, this is a fundraiser, so we are calling on you, asking you to pray, most of all, to pray for us in the missions that we're doing to help bring the Lord, to help bring faith to everyone who is searching, all those people. We're so honored to be Catholic, and we're so honored to be in ministry together. So I want to start out just by explaining to you who the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation is and how we started out and what's going on with our nonprofit. So back in 2015, Pope Francis came to the United States for the World Meeting of Families. And many of you remember that. It was a very big deal. And here where I live in Philadelphia, he came to our very city to do a mass and to participate in that World Meeting of Families. And when he came, the Mercedarian friars, who are located in West Philadelphia, they decided to go to the World Meeting of Families, as many religious orders and actually many priests and religious in the archdiocese attended. And the takeaway that they came after attending was that they needed to do something to help those families who are in adversity, families who are going through tough times. Now, when I say families, yes, I'm referring to parents and children, but just individuals in general, people who have faced the most difficult times, traumas, people who are affected by divorce and separation, job loss, health crisis, loss of a loved one, and so many other things that we would consider in the realm of crisis. And so they decided to start a nonprofit. And they came together with an 8-person board of directors, meeting and praying and just trying to decide, like, how will we get this off the ground? And so 2 years went by. So between the years of 2015 and 2017, basically there were a lot of meetings just trying to figure out exactly like what are our first steps so that we can really make that outreach to help families who are facing trauma and difficulties. And so in 2017, after a lot of time and a lot of prayer, they hired their first director. And so we thank her as she was involved with the foundation for the first 6 months. And she definitely made her mark on this foundation, making outreach to those affected by divorce and separation, which was really our initial outreach. When the foundation came together, the board came together, they decided that that was the first and initial place that they wanted to try to help people because there was kind of a gap there. And at the World Meeting of Families, Rose Sweet, who some of you are familiar with, she's a former board member with the foundation here. She is a real expert in helping those people who have gone through a lot of difficult times related to divorce and separation, Catholics namely. And so she was all part of our board, and that became a big part of what we did over those next couple years. So between 2017 until around 2019 or through 2020, we did a primary focus that was really mostly all about helping the divorced and separated. And so we thank Rose, make a shout out to her for her hard work. Now, since that time, I became the director in 2018. I've actually been with the foundation when that former first director left. I was the administrative assistant and then came on board in January 2018 as the director. So I'm really honored to be in this position for almost 5 years and trying to make that outreach. And I'm happy to let all of you know that at this time, we have now helped hundreds of individuals and families who are facing those challenges. And thank you. I want to just thank you for that. So that's a little bit of our beginnings. And so at this time, I just want to make that invitation to all of you, especially those whom we have helped in some way, to give. We do have a text to give number, which you see right there on the screen. And I'm also going to give you that number. It is 215-770-1423. You just text the word give, SRNF, in all caps. And you can give any amount you like. I mean, whether it be something very small or a recurring donation, because on our website, we have that opportunity too, where you can give at whatever amount you like. And be assured that all of the money, all of it goes to helping us reach those families. So thank you for your generous donation. We're really and super grateful for that. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time telling you what we've done over these last 5 years since we've been in existence. So we have 4 facets to what we do, and we call them the 4 Ps. So the first one is prayer. That is primary. That is what everything is all about. And we were founded through a religious order, through the Mercedarians. And by the way, you can learn about them at orderofmercy.org, because we're really honored. I'm really honored to be a part of the Mercedarian family. I'm also a third order Mercedarian, which is a prayerful lay member of the Mercedarian religious order, as well as my husband. So it's just great to be a part of that as well. So prayer is always first. Our Mercedarian friars, our board of directors, and our friends, they pray for those intentions. In fact, if you're watching this podcast right now, all you need to do is go to our website at nonnatus.org. We have a drop down there under our services for prayer. And you can send us a confidential prayer request where I send that out to our Mercedarian friars to pray for you, whatever your needs are. The next facet of what we offer is probably our most important one. And it's one that honestly that I do pretty much every day, something to do with this. And that is our priestly consultations. And so what we offer is a free consultation with a Mercedarian friar where you can talk about whatever it is that you want to discuss, any spiritual issue, something to do with your trauma, your stress, your crisis, Catholic moral questions. You know, you don't know what to do about a certain family situation and you want to get the Catholic Church's teaching on that and make sure that you're going in the right direction. That's exactly where you can get in touch with us. On that drop down, under the priestly consult, you fill out the form on our website, nonnatus.org. And once again, I'll get in touch with you and set up that appointment with one of our Mercedarian friars. And good news, you can have as many of those as you like. So you don't just get one. If you want to speak to a priest more than once, rest assured, we're here for you. We care. The St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation cares. The church cares. And that's why we do what we do. So the priestly consultations is second. The next thing we offer are podcasts and videos. And that's kind of an ongoing thing we've been doing pretty much since the beginning. We do have a YouTube channel. It's called Philly Nonnatus. So please do be sure to subscribe. There's also a podcast page right there on our website that you can check out and see what we have available. But I want to mention 2 that we do, which are ongoing, and we've really done a lot, is the divorce podcast. So it's a special once a month podcast that comes out every single month on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. It's on demand, so you can watch it anytime you want. It is an audio podcast. My co-host is our president, our board president, Nikki Kelly. And right now, we just finished up a whole series, or we're finishing up, I should say, a series called 10 Tips for Healing for Those Affected by Divorce. So please check that one out. That's a good one. Another one is our Families in Crisis podcast series. And we just finished up, literally, we're finishing as I'm airing this or taping this podcast with you here, the Beatitude series. So also go to our Philly Nonnatus YouTube channel and learn more, because, you know, part of our faith is being learned, right? Knowing our faith, loving our faith, being able to be better Catholics and to be healed of those things that weigh us down. And as we always say, our mission is, our tagline is pastoral accompaniment for families in crisis. You know, I think everybody has a crisis, don't they? So please do get in touch with us on that link to set up your free pastoral consultation. Now, as I mentioned, the podcast, the prayer, the priestly consultations. Now, we also have programs and events, and they're ongoing. Good news is now that the pandemic is pretty much over, is that most of our events now are in person. In fact, we just finished an event in July 2022 at the National Shrine of St. Rita for families in crisis. We're hoping to do more of those too. So when you donate to us, when you donate to our foundation, you're helping us to be able to bring more of those retreats to others. So please do check that out, the programs and events page on Ornatus.org. So just remember those 4 P's that I mentioned, because that's what we offer. That's our mission: prayer, priestly consultation, podcasts and videos, programs and events. Now, I'd also like to thank the person who's actually producing this very video with us tonight. You're going to be introduced to him. A lot of you already know him, Bill Snyder, the founder of Patchwork Heart Ministry, because he's also a board member with our foundation. So blessed to have him working with me. And a lot of you already know too, is that Bill and I have our own podcast. It's called the Sowing Hope Podcast, where we're already at 200 episodes, actually over 200 episodes. And everything that we do is like a combined effort. So we're not only are we promoting my work and our work with the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation to helping those families in crisis, but also we have interviewed hundreds of people on our podcast, hundreds of Catholics and ministries. Hi, Bill.
Hey.
And people are doing excellent work. And so I just encourage all of you to, to check out the Sowing Hope podcast. All you need to do is to go to Patchwork Heart Ministry on YouTube, also patchworkheartradio.org. Make sure that you subscribe there. Check out all of Bill's podcasts, not just the ones that he does with me, but another one that he does called Young Catholics Respond, and our Journeys in Faith program, which is my show on Fiat Ministry Network. I have to actually thank also our wonderful producer, Kent Kohaski, Jennifer Sinclair, for all of their hard work, not just for the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation and sharing all of our podcasts and helping produce, but for you too, right, Bill? Because they've done so much for Sowing Hope and for Patchwork Heart Ministry.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to just thank all of you for listening to what I have to say about the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation. I want to thank our mercenary friars. Bill, I want to thank you for all you do, because not only are you my podcast co-host, or we're working together on Sowing Hope, but you're a good friend. All of us have become such good friends. Bill and I, Kent Kohaski, Jennifer Sinclair, working together. These 3 beautiful nonprofits who care about you, who are watching. We care about you, and we care about the things that matter to you regarding your Catholic faith and trying to stay closer to God. So without further ado then, I want to hand it over to Bill Snyder. Bill is the founder of Patchwork Heart Ministry, and he's going to tell you all about the work that not only that he and I have done, but the work that he has done. One more thing, Bill, I have to mention is that Bill and I are the co-author of a book. And so this is very relevant for all of our foundations, and it's called Hearts Burning Within Us. And so, Bill, maybe when you talk about Patchwork Heart, you can discuss that. But you go to patchworkheart.org, and there's a drop down there where you can purchase the book. But basically, it's for college-age students or students who are finished high school. So if you're watching this video right now, it's summer of 2022. It's a perfect time to buy that book.
Absolutely.
So anyway.
And
Thanks
this is
for
great.
giving me the opportunity.
Oh, of course, Ann. And as you mentioned, we all work so closely together, and you're going to hear from Ken Kowalski in just a little bit. We're going to bring him on the screen in just a little while. But Ann, thank you so much for all the amazing work that you do, and how you just offer so much amazing service to the church through the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation. Folks, I want to encourage you, again, the number you see on the bottom of your screen, underneath Ann's name there, is the number that you need to text to donate, and donate right now. Take the 5 minutes that it takes to text the number, to make whatever donation it is, small, large, whatever it is, whatever the Holy Spirit's putting on your heart right now, make your best gift to the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation, because it does so much to help those families in crisis. And of course, it's an amazing pleasure working with Ann on the many different levels that we do, and certainly we're going to talk a little bit about that now, as we kind of transition into the Patchwork Heart Ministry update during this fundraiser. And so I first want to begin with, first of all, thank you for your support, right? Patchwork Heart Ministry has grown this year. We have experienced some amazing things. Firstly, the book that came out and just mentioned, right? It is called Hearts Burning Within Us. It is a book derived from college students, from the questions that college students had, and it is for college students. And I think one of the most amazing things was it's a fruit of the pandemic. And we know we're coming out of the pandemic now, but at the height of the pandemic, in 2020, when everybody was kind of locked up, what we did was we sat down with 5 different college students from 3 different universities, and we asked them the questions that were burning on their heart. And we met with myself, Ann, and 2 other youth ministers, or 2 other college ministers, I should say, Maggie Riggins and also Jennifer Oakley. That's her married name now. Her pen name, I guess, under the book was Jennifer Southerton. But what we did was we met with these students weekly, and we walked with them like the 2 disciples walked with Jesus on the road to Emmaus. That's where we get the title, Hearts Burning Within Us, from. And this book, that was taken from the heart of college students' questions, we turned into a really mini catechism in their language, right? Is the way I like to describe it. And so it's very conversational, and it's true to the church. It's true to church teaching. We had some wonderful, priests and pastors work alongside us and make sure our theology was, appropriate and correct and in line with church teaching, but it's also written in the flavor of a conversation between young adult ministers and young adults, college age young adults. And we are so blessed to have this resource, and we want to get it into your hands. I think that's the biggest thing. We don't want it sitting in a cart on Amazon. We don't want it sitting in my basement, right? Like, I want to be able to mail these out to you. And so, folks, what we're going to do right now for anybody who is supporting us during this fundraiser is we are going and donates $50 or more, you're going to get a book, right? If you donate $50 one time, or let's say the gift of a $5 a month donation, so $5 a month, which would be $60 a year, or a one-time donation of $50, you would get a copy of this book to give to your, somebody your son, your daughter, nephew, niece who's graduating, or maybe who just graduated high school, going off into college. This is the time, as Ann said, to give this book away. And you can support our ministry through it. Ordinarily, the book, you can purchase the book as well, just by itself, on our website or on Amazon for something just under $20. But if you do this fundraiser and give us that little extra boost for our ministry, we will send you a copy completely free. The other things that Patchwork Heart Ministry does, folks, is our tagline is sowing hope into broken hearts, and our ministry works so closely together because we have the podcast Sowing Hope, which is the first 2 words of our tagline, and that really is an uplifting show. This is an uplifting show to buoy your faith, right? I mean, there's so much going on in the world that what we try and do is uplift you and inspire you to live a life with God and for God. And, again, with everything going on in the world, we need to have an uplifting, true to the church podcast that that brings some humor, but also brings relevant topics. I mean, folks, Anne was mentioning some of the things that she's been talking about. We have been doing a series on the Synod. We've done a series on Catholic parenting, of which I am not an expert at all because I only have one child and he's 14 months old. But the reality is we've done so many different things to inspire you, to lift you up, to help you grow in your faith. And we can't do it. Podcasts, all the graphics, everything that you see, costs money. To make things look beautiful and wonderful, these things cost money. In addition to that, we are producing, and I'm going to transition us into this because I want you to see this. This is coming out hopefully this fall, and it is called Who Do You Say I Am? It is a documentary on the Shroud of Turin. So over this past year, we did the book in 2021, and it's out now. This year we have ventured into full-time, full-length feature documentary production, and in conjunction with our very good friends at Fiat Ministry Network. And so we have produced, or are producing in production right now, with the documentary called Who Do You Say I Am, which is a full-length feature film on the Shroud of Turin. And we're super excited to delve into the spirituality of the Shroud. There's a lot of science that goes on, and believe me, we cover the science. We have two amazing experts. Their names are Richard Bernatchez and Brian Walsh, and we got a chance to actually sit down with both of them and talk with them about their research and what is most important to them when it comes to the authenticity of the Shroud from a scientific standpoint. But we really wanted to dive deeply into the spirituality and show that, how is the Shroud, when one encounters it, affecting the faith of those people. And so not only do we talk to experts, but we actually had a replica Shroud exhibit that we went into, and we asked the participants who were walking through the exhibit, who encountered not only the scientific presentation, but a full-length replica-size Shroud, what their impressions were, right? Those who have seen something that looks, like a near-perfect image of the Shroud, and read all these 33 different panels that explain, like Brian and Richard do in the film, the science. What do they say when they walk out of that exhibit? And so this is meant to inspire and lift you up in your faith. And again, you can go over to our website. We'll put it up there on the bottom of the screen so you can see it. It is very simply patchworkheart.org/shroud. You go over there, you're going to get all the information about how you can bring this to your parish or to your group. We are offering enterprise licensing, and of course we'll have either DVDs or digital downloads for sale as well, so you can download the film and play it on your TV or watch it. We're going to try and get onto Amazon Prime and all of those different streaming platforms so you're able to watch it and see it with ease. But the reality is, folks, that again, producing a documentary has lots of costs involved. And so anyone who goes into our website, you're going to see a link there for Buy Me a Coffee, and you click on the Buy Me a Coffee, you support the film. We're going to upload some really cool behind-the-scenes footage and also like documentary scripts and voiceover scripts, so you can get a little bit of the flavor and taste of what this looks like. And it's only for those people who support the film with a gift. You can give us a gift to offset the cost of producing this documentary, and then you get all those behind the scenes and of course a free copy of the film as well. So we're super excited about this. We can't wait for it to come out. And what I want to do right now before we bring Kent on is I want to show the trailer of this film. So we're going to just take 2 minutes. We're going to show the trailer. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about it and all the other wonderful things that Fiat Ministry Network has going on. So we thank you so much for tuning in to our fundraiser, watching and supporting us. And here is the trailer of Who Do You Say I Am?
The Shroud of Turin is one of the most researched and studied relics in church history, and profoundly impacts many who encounter its mystery.
As a person of faith, looking at it through the eyes of faith, I don't think it can help but touch your heart.
Something that we can look on not only to bolster our faith in those moments of weakness, but also to deepen our faith and our appreciation, our intimacy with Christ.
Join Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry as they examine the science of the Shroud through the lens of faith.
Really interesting scientific information that we didn't know about, like the pollen from all the different regions of the world. As the Shroud traveled around, it picked that up. Some of the mites, things like that was really interesting to me. I mean, this made you really want to believe it a lot more.
It's impressive. Like, humanly, I don't think that is another level of love. It's not I'm gonna see people like, oh, I love you, I'll give you a chocolate. No. I'm giving you more than my life. I'm giving you my suffering.
Asking both experts and disciples, who do you say I am?
As far as who the man of the shroud is, I, as a person of faith and kind of reviewing the evidence there, it seems that a convincing argument can be made that it's Jesus of Nazareth.
Visit patchworkheart.org/shroud to learn more and get exclusive behind-the-scenes updates for your support.
Kent, wasn't that trailer awesome? Thanks so much for joining us here on this special fundraiser, this virtual fundraiser that we've been doing. It's exciting to have you, and I'm so excited to be talking to you a little bit about how our ministries interact and this wonderful documentary, Who Do You Say I Am?
Oh, no, thank you, Bill, for having me on. And yeah, it's a great trailer that, we we're really working on it hard. And I know you've been doing a lot of work, just the last, couple parts of it to get the recordings and everybody, the experts and all that, to combine it for this great, documentary on the Shroud of Turin. I think sometimes, we need to just, take a time and, watch these kind of informational, spiritual opportunities to kind of get into your faith a little bit more than just, going through the motions sometimes. So getting that kind of, physical information about, because there's a lot of great information that both experts were sharing, and then also all the guests that we were, sharing throughout the different locations that the Shroud was at. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for everybody to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely, Kent. It really is. And, I want to remind everybody that, you can support all of our ministries. You're going to see our QR codes below us here to donate directly to, Fiat Ministry Network or Patchwork Heart Ministry or St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation. But the documentary, and we'll probably toss it up here on the screen as well, has its own support, and you can get some pretty cool perks, including watching the first 4.5 minutes of the documentary. So if you donate $10 a month or more to us on Buy Me a Coffee, you'll see that link right now on the screen. You can scan that QR code, or you can just go right over to our Buy Me a Coffee site, which is buymeacoffee/patchworkheart. And all the proceeds, if you want to donate to the film, are there, to help support production costs and everything like that. But the cool thing is that we throw in some cool perks. So you'll get some behind-the-scene pictures. We even have video footage of our Zoom interview that we recorded with Brian, which was so cool. So we have some footage of that, which we can toss up there. And you can see us moving cameras around and lining up shots if you're one of those junkies, right? That loves, the behind-the-scenes kind of stuff on the DVD. But, so this is going to be an amazing documentary. We're hoping to release it in the fall for everybody. So yeah, head over there. But Kent, I want you to share a little bit about what else Fiat Ministry Network does, because it's not just documentaries. You do so much, and you support so many different ministries in your work at Fiat that I really want people to understand that, and of course support you and your mission to spread the truth of Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, thank you, Bill, for that. And one thing, we're doing a lot of stuff together. You notice a lot of the, Patchwork Heart Ministry and, all of Ann's ministries kind of are combined onto Fiat's stream that we do. There's also, we're expanding to get onto kind of the Roku and kind of the platforms where people can just watch on their TVs and go into basically not from the computer, but just sit down on the couch and enjoy, all the, information and all the, shows that we are trying to share on Fiat and through Patchwork Heart and everything that we're doing together. That's one exciting thing. And we're trying to build a gentleman. Actually, there was a friend about 3 or 4 months ago came on with a priest, and we were talking, and really supported us in a great way. And any little or big financial support and prayers. We number one asked for prayers, but they were supporting, and they wanted to continue to do more series of talking about the faith more in depth, and kind of make it more hands-on, where you can get into the conversation live. And we're looking to do more live in the fall. Live can get more interact, where you're in the conversation in the comments. So they're hoping to have people come in, and we're hoping to build that. But the other thing is doing production. I know, Bill, you're doing a lot of video production. We still do a lot of video production for other ministries, which I really enjoy. I love behind the scenes, that camera action of the director kind of switching and doing all the fun stuff that you can do behind the scenes, but then also getting in front of the camera and sharing the faith too. But we're trying to build on more of a network, kind of making it a network of other shows, and build off of that. Of course, you have to go to the locations that you have to go, which are somewhat at times can get you in some issues where YouTube doesn't like something that you say, or Facebook and these other social media platforms. You got to be careful with that. But other than that, this Roku setup is really interesting, because this is a very it's a smaller platform, but then the way you can build your network is much greater, because you can actually get into the house, in the sense of on the couch, and kind of the EWTN feel.
Yeah, absolutely, Kent. I mean, you're doing so much with the streaming platforms, and folks, these things cost money. I mean, let's just talk about, you want to get onto somebody's sofa, right, Kent? It costs a pretty penny to be able to host these streaming platforms, and God has money, it's in our pockets, is what somebody once told me. God has money, it's in our pockets, and in order to produce great Catholic programming, and we need a bevy of it, right? Like mentioned EWTN, Ken, but we need more than just EWTN. There's Relevant Radio, and there's other great programming out there, but and wonderful podcast networks like Breadbox Media and things. But But we need to have all of us in media create wholesome, good, uplifting media, and we can't do it unless we have access to some of these streaming platforms that we know people are consuming, TV, radio on, right? So in order to get on every cell phone, in order to make it look professional too, right? You see all these, graphics and all these things behind us. All of this costs money. This is not just free. And so folks, when you support Fiat Ministry Network, right, and maybe tell people how they can support you, Kent. I know we're going to put a link in the QR code on the bottom, but tell people how they can, support you and all that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the link below is the best way. I think, there's also on the website, we have a donation button that always has to get updated. We're a one-man band kind of sometimes, so it takes time to get everything going, but the best way is just the information below, and we'll take it any way. We do have a PO box if that's also a way of going. I know that might not feel comfortable if you don't. There's always other ways. I know some people don't feel comfortable on the computer and all that. So I think, I appreciate all of that. And, really, I've been doing this for 15 years before YouTube and Facebook. Any platform, you had to do it from your website. You had to actually create content and put it onto your website through a CDN. It's a way of sending the stream to a destination, which was a website. And nowadays, everybody's going to YouTube, but now, we kind of think about coming back. So, going to the website, checking that out. I'll be doing some more financial things later in the year, but right now it's, if there's anything that you want, also I've been doing, podcasts for other people over 3 years. I mean, there's a larger podcasts that I produce on a regular basis, on a almost weekly basis. And one of them mentioned it, if you recognize Doug Barry from EWTN, and he mentions the smallest person can take advantage of the faith and to share the faith in their own ways. And you don't have to have a huge, every little bit counts. I mean, if you have a huge following, that's great, but also a small following, because one person, that's one thing. I know Al Smith is a regular on all our organizations and networks. Al Smith, who does a lot of Bishop Fulton Sheen talks and books and all of that, mentioned a long time ago when we were starting out Fiat, it's one soul at a time. We catch up, get caught up in the numbers. Everybody's caught up in numbers of followers and who do you have, but it's one soul at a time. And number one, the prayer, and then if you can do some financial help, that's also great. The coffee, one coffee, a day or a month, that's great. I mean, I appreciate it. We're trying to get back onto the join subscription on YouTube. YouTube kind of gave us a little of a kick and kind of was not really kind to us, and we're trying to build that back up. But anyway, prayers are great, but one soul at a time. I really kind of, that's my motto kind of at Fiat.
And it's a beautiful one. I know, Kent, that you encourage all to say yes to Jesus Christ in that manner. Yeah. And so, folks, we really, really appreciate you prayerfully considering donating to all of our ministries. Again, we're going to have those text to donate links and also the links and QR codes to donate to us here on this annual virtual fundraiser. We love coming together because we work so closely throughout the year. Big thank you to Ann DeSantis for all of her amazing work with the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation, and however you support both Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry it's just awesome. So thank you so very much for all that you do, Kent, and it's really been a pleasure chatting with you today. And thank you all at home for prayerfully considering and donating to all of our ministries. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Bill,
absolutely,
for doing this.
Oh, absolutely. And so,
God,
folks,
God bless.
Yeah, folks, until next time, may God bless you and your families.